Hey everyone, this is Lock and Load. There's a new season in Call of Duty Mobile and therefore a new meta. Let's start. First up we have snipers, or well, a sniper. Arguably the best weapon category for snipe and destroy, we have the only contestant for this sport, the Tundra. It has received an ADS speed nerf going from 480 milliseconds to 500 for the base weapon. Though this nerf may alarm you, it translates to only one frame of worse ADS speed with elastic airborne tape, and therefore it still stands above other snipers, remaining the best option for sniping. Next up, we have the passive weapons, those that excel at mid to long range engagements as well as having the ability to lock down lanes from enemy pushes. The first we have is the PKM. With the potential for 200 rounds per ammo belt and an impressive 25-meter 3-tap potential if you can land a single shot to the upper body or arms, and having infinite 4-shot kill, the PKM is a beast at suppressive fire, rendering the enemies unable to push through choke points. However, the PKM has its downsides. Despite the recent buff in swap speed, PKM's handling and mobility is still overall poor, even compared to its LMG peers, and thus making it very vulnerable to flankers or being caught off guard when rotating from camping point to camping point. If you dislike PKM's back-breaking weight, then you can try out the LK24, a weapon well known for its flinch or lack thereof, a range profile not to be scoffed at, great recoil and BSA. Although having significantly better mobility than the previous option, the LK is still lacking in that department. To play close range effectively much like the PKM, I bet to a much lesser degree. But that is the least of the LK's problems, as it features a poor base iron sight hindering your view, necessitating the need for an optic if you don't have a blueprint with custom iron sights. But despite all of these drawbacks, the LK still deserves a spot as one of the best options. Bored of being stuck to one spot and unable to move around? Then the next gun is for you, the Kilo. A weapon that needs no further introduction, featuring mobility on the better end of the spectrum, while still beating most weapons at long range performance. Though not as good as the PKM or the LK24 at their prime ranges due to worse recoil and range profile, the Kilo more than makes up for it in its ability to rotate quickly around the map, and with that, the Kilo earns itself a spot in the meta list. So far, we've only been discussing full auto weapons. Now we are moving on to the single firing weapons dedicated to DMR enjoyers. The SKS. Infamous in the CODM community, from rank to competitive, known for its insane 165 millisecond time to kill if you can land a single shot on the stomach or above, except the upper arms, as well as one tapping to the head for basically up to infinity. In the hand of a competent player, the SKS can shift the tides of the match in favor of the user, beating even aggressive SMGs at close range and passive ARs at long range. But like with all good things, even this comes with a catch. It being that the SKS believe they have very low mobility if you build it out to have usable flinch, or have laughably high flinch in return for a quite average mobility. To fix these issues, we have the GOAT, FMJ ASVAL, the more aggressive younger brother of the SKS. It, much like its bigger brother, features a very consistent 2-shot kill to the body if you hit the stomach or above, again except the upper arms, to 43 meters, and a 1-tap headshot to around 37.8 meters. The one thing that does push the ASVAL to relevance even with the SKS existing with a faster rate of fire and better range is its almost SMG-like mobility. With its 4.20 meter per second strafe speed and 280 millisecond ADS speed fully kitted out, and despite the massive mobility advantage over the SKS, the ASVAL's hit flinch being surprisingly low, coming in at just 0.85, which is high but still pretty good for a DMR. Love challenging SMGs and then snipers at the same time? This category is perfect for you. To begin, of course, we have the HVK. Striking fear into every man's heart, it still dominates the meta, as it's one of the strongest and most versatile weapons. It can 2-tap to the head till 28.8 meters, bringing an unmatched 90 millisecond time to kill. But even if you don't hit headshots, it has a competitive time to kill of 180 milliseconds, until 17.5 meters if you land 2 shots on the chest, and 28.8 if you manage to hit no legs or upper arms in that endeavor. It 4 shots until 47.8 meters with a 270 millisecond time to kill, with of course the condition of no leg shots. And it 5 shots till infinity with a 360 millisecond time to kill, without an asterisk this time,
making this an extremely versatile weapon due to this time to kill profile rivaling even more passive weapons at range.
Next up, the Type 19. The new king on the Grau's throne is a fast-firing, versatile weapon having extremely easy recoil. This means this is a weapon that's very easy to use while still being competitive with 240 millisecond time to kill up to 15 meters or 31.3 if you can land 2 shots on the lower arms or higher, while possessing great flinch at 0.42 for those faraway encounters. It also has the best hip-fire accuracy compared to any other ARs. Paired with its great mobility, it keeps this gun lethal up close. Its cons would include the fairly average BSA and the not so great time to kill beyond 43.8 meters. Now we have the gun saved by the grace of a single attachment similar to the HVK. The Dr. DRH. Being a popular comp choice, this gun has the ability to rival even SMGs thanks to its 210 millisecond time to kill and a very consistent 3-shot up to 21.8 meters, even on one lower arm shot. It can also flinch your opponents heavily due to the 1.32 bullet impact and has fairly good mobility. Even despite all these pros, it possesses a fairly good BSA for a flex AR. After its initial range, this gun demands more and more shots on the upper body to keep the time to kill competitive, being one of the only cons aside from the slow rate of fire. Up next is a weapon that's recently made an entry in the competitive scene and is here to stay, the Oden. This gun is quite the extremist. It has exceptional time to kill at 145 milliseconds, faster than your own reaction time, if you can land both shots on or above the lower arms, or a chest shot up to 25 meters. It still maintains a respectable 290 millisecond time to kill beyond that range up to 39.2 meters, beyond which it is horrible to use thanks to the slow bullet velocity and time to kill. It has a pretty decent flinch for a flex at 0.65 and an amazing bullet impact at 1.5. You've heard about the good, now it's time for the ugly. The vertical recoil is insanely high and requires you to build this gun for recoil. Its hipfire stat is the worst compared to any other AR, even worse than most snipers, requiring you to always ADS before going for a kill. The ADS and reload speeds also tend to be on the slower end of flex weapons. One of the most popular weapon classifications in the game still remains great as always, it being the aggressive weapon. The Fennec, as expected, tops this list, always being a great option ever since its introduction more than 3 years ago. It shoots at an impressive 1100 rounds per minute, which makes it very forgiving when it comes to missing shots. It also features the best hipfire for an SMG, allowing you to consistently hit targets when getting up close and personal without having to ADS, allowing you to have a higher sensitivity and vision in such encounters. Though having a 216 millisecond time to kill, it's also one of the most forgiving SMGs, allowing you to hit 3 legs, beyond which it will take an extra shot to kill in its first range, being 14.4 meters. Its effectiveness starts diminishing beyond 21 meters due to the high flinch and slow time to kill. The other option for aggressive play would be the R9. The R9, when ADS, can achieve a consistent 19-meter 2-shot kill at 200 millisecond time to kill, and has seen a lot of usage in the competitive scene. Just make sure that you ADS whenever possible. The R9 has a pretty pathetic hipfire spread, only beating the Argus. The QXR, a relatively new weapon on this list, though it's no stranger to being a meta weapon. It, along with the PP-19 Bison, were once dominant during their launch phase, overshadowing every other SMG back then. It was away from the limelight after being nerfed to oblivion, but a few consecutive buffs have made the gun rise from its ashes and is now a very powerful option. It, when paired with the enhanced bolt perk and range boosting attachments, give it a mid-range time to kill comparable to some ARs, while still being a competitive SMG up close if you manage to hit all shots to the upper body, which gives you the sweet 4-shot to kill. However, do mind, in the first range even a single shot to the legs will send you off to a 5-shot kill being 240 milliseconds, which is on the slower end for SMGs in that range. It also has pretty poor hipfire performance for an SMG, requiring you to aim down sights for more consistent performance. Finally, we have guns that have not been included in this list due to either major cons or just being slightly worse options compared to their peers in the list. Kicking off the honorable mentions, we have the MSMC. After seeing some buffs in the recent season, it has become a pretty strong SMG up close, competing with other top options like the Fennec, while still having pretty decent mid-range performance. The hipfire buff made it have performance in line with other SMGs up close. It boasts a very quick 195 millisecond time to kill up to 11.6 meters, but also has a 260 millisecond time to kill up to 21 meters. This gun also has solid flinch at 0.81, being closer to some Flaxias, and also has great initial VSA. Now you may ask, what's keeping it off the main list? Its problems include the horizontal recoil, which might be too high for some people. It's also less forgiving than the Fennec, only allowing you to hit one leg shot, beyond which you will need an extra shot to kill. It's also a bit slower mobility-wise and at reload speed. Now we have the Type 19's twin, the Grau. These two guns are quite similar, but the Type 19 just tends to be a more stable version of the Grau, having slightly faster rate of fire, bullet velocity, and better flinch. Whereas, although the Grau has fairly high flinch, its first range extends slightly more than the Type 19, but the second range is worse. It also has slightly faster handling speeds and reload speed. Overall, pretty similar guns, but Type 19 just edges ahead a little. To finish this list, we have the gun you've been waiting for, ready to comment asking, where is it? The MG42, the gun currently feared by every ranked player. This gun would have even been in the main list if not for the recent nerfs. This is a gun having insanely fast rate of fire, potentially faster than even the Fennec. This makes it quite potent up close. Alongside that close range lethality, it's very strong at range due to its near lack of recoil. It also somehow possesses one of the best hipfire stats in the game. Now coming to the cons, its wall penetration is more similar to ARs and now has a pretty low bullet impact for an LMG. It's also having an insanely slow spin to fire speed, and the reload speed is just annoyingly slow. The mobility is of course not the greatest, being an LMG. This has been Lock and Load, going dark.